Alright. I want to keep reading this book because I think it would be very helpful to anyone. Now I'm going to read, this is going to be chapter 1. Are you ready for this? It is case number 1, which is also chapter 1. It has these case studies in this book, and then it has the analysis of all the program. And case 1 is Back in Front Altars, Secret Space Program, Fourth Reich. My story, The Child Within, Elementary School 1980s / Monarch Programming. And here we go. I felt like a visitor on planet Earth. And going to my elementary school library sparked a great excitement. I knew I'd understand more about the culture, the ideals, the timeline of this planet. Storytime for our class included a book about a caterpillar with a ravenous appetite. Instantly, I received a mental picture in what I now know is my pineal gland. A brief summary of what the Monarch programming was, how to identify Monarch programming within. I was both terrified and fascinated. I loved butterflies. The teacher's lounge was an open area in the back of the library where the librarian read seated in front. The librarian read? Okay, I see what they're saying. There's just like a little stage area that the librarians read from. I didn't know that's what it was called. This frightened me the most. My mind saw an overlay / bleed through of an off-world scene. I saw stormtroopers and Darth Vader-like character. This took place on Mars, where male, blonde hair, blue-eyed children were captive and used as experiments. There was an upcoming war in this reality between Earth and Mars. The stormtroopers recorded data on the computers. They split the word, it's not me. I felt I had a mission to save Earth. My stomach turned and I was petrified. I wonder if it's 20 and back. I vaguely remembered a humanoid doctors who seemed aliens. Others were in disguise. As a child, I was eager to learn something new because my mother was learning. My mother made learning fun and enjoyable. On one particular day, my advanced... See, this is what happens when you stop reading for a while. And you just fuck with your computer, your brain gets jogged. Let me clear it up. I am stoned too, motherfucker, Matt. Not fucking completely lucid enough to read proper. See that asshole to speak? Let me get back in my bathtub water. I love it. Okay. As a child, I was eager to learn something new because my mother had made learning fun and enjoyable. On one particular day, my advanced lesson was cursive alphabets writing. I believe this opened my DNA because mentally I saw Hebrew letters as we recited and traced cursive English alphabet. I immersed my body in the color electric blue, and another mental download I became aware of and taught myself to feel the color, what the color meant to me, and its correct term was royal blue for hyperspace. I had a sudden realization that if others knew of my abilities, I'd be praised as an indigo child. I quickly was informed that indigo meant indicate, and the indigo child movement was created by our government to label and identify highly intelligent children to use for governmental mind control purposes. This realization put me in a state of melancholy. I wanted a higher social status for my family, but this outlet was a total lie and would be used to hurt people, even myself. All of those thoughts was going in my head while I learned my ABCs. Another high-level communication was to pay close attention to the letter Q, or 17. They're calling it 17. If you're one of those people that like that guy, those guys, whatever. I'm sorry, I fucked up everything. I'm fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The letter Q and what it would be more revealed to me once I learned how to draw a block cursive Q. Puzzled by this discovery, I kept an open mind. Here's what I learned. The false powers that perverted the letter Q to resemble a broken number 2. Don't be fooled. This is not a game. I want the absolute truth. I mentally saw the words E.T. in the clouds, but this didn't mean the conventional sense of aliens because they're beyond advanced. Q, as I was told, is an elite military force that will go through a planetary system with a white glove of perfection. Yeah. Author's note: mentally saw a butler auditing the condition of a mansion and then using a white glove over the surface that ensures everything was clean. Cleaning corruption in a series of checks and balances. They come when corruption extends past the solar system and only when there's a dire need, last resort. Action. Chapter author's notes. I do not have an English term to describe dire because they, the Q, don't arrive on a whim. And dire could mean apply to all human experience of all time, but that's what I have, so this meant extremely crucial period in time. Frantically, I asked, will the planet be taken over by force? They are always successful and no government power can stop them. They follow the law. Mental picture of a Halu temple, Q spitting on top of a tabernacle, winged lions in military uniform, civil war. I saw the Torah and Hebrew letters. I begged and pleaded, what does this mean for me? Will they wipe the earth of existence? I claimed, we need more time. Not everyone on earth is corrupt. People on earth are slaves in a mental prison, and they haven't been taught the absolute truth without interference from godlike beings. We need the truth in order to make a sound discernment. The gist of all what I learned was to take personal responsibility and accountability and live a good life free of corruption. What is the absolute truth? I begged for the absolute truth, and surprisingly, I could handle it. Now it says Kuiper Belt. In this world, I felt that there were 3 groups of X-Men and false powers, that be including MIB, a rogue alien group. See, my last video was about the rogue leadership. A rogue alien group outside our solar system that comprised of all types of animals and insects. They were here to stop our government. These colorful set of characters were easy for me to grasp in my child's mind. Queen of Hearts. Not sure if storm was a brewing, but I had a severe migraines with the aura colors of bright fuchsia and yellow swirling around me. And in the playroom at my babysitter's home, I saw simultaneous existence of a man on a gurney being tortured by Dr. Green, which is Dr. Mingala. I refused to call him Dr. Mingala because it sounded like mangle. I refused to be mangled. Mental pictures of a black and white photo of Dr. Green. How could some of these with good looks be so evil? How did I know this person? Whatever I vowed to protect and assist those brave souls who were on the same spiritual journey as me. I saw a mental picture of them reigning queen of my timeline. They all felt the same. I felt as if I were queen in an unconventional reality. See, I didn't even know that this is a woman or a man yet. There would be a face-off battle between the good and evil, queen versus queen. How could such a showdown occur? I am a queen with an entire fleet and army behind me. Mentally, I saw my protection around me, winged lions. I raised my invisible sword and continued to express my heart to God. Things had to be done differently this go around. The biblical word revelation flashed in red in my mind. The storm outside continued with tornado watch. My babysitter came, rushing in as the lights went out. All of the kids huddled together. She sang gospel hymns and everything felt all right. The storm ended, clouds cleared. Marriage programming. A reoccurring night dream. I used to escape through my closet and the event flashed across my pineal, the marriage program. On the other side of the kitchen, where the mom, the dad of my boyfriend lived, although we were kids, he was much older than I. We were engaged and eventually encouraged to consummate the marriage. Mom always baked cookies, and home was immaculately surgically clean and sterile. I never saw the dad's face, but the mom always had a weird alien smile. The kitchen table felt like a surgical table, and the room dimly lit. His room was small, a small capsule located upstairs, even though I don't ever remember seeing anything else. I do remember this was a facade, and I remembered her sticking a large needle in the center of my navel, and also had frequent nightmare nosebleeds, migraines, and woke up bleeding at the base of my head. I learned how to fight back with the dream state using a golden dagger. Aleister Crowley and the Triplets. Another series of migraines and frightened mental images. I felt Satan was going to take my soul. I saw black and white photo of Aleister Crowley in my mind. He resembled Uncle Fester from Addams Family television show, but he was not lovable, and at the time I was terrified of him. I was the bride of Satan, and I was a triplet, but my two other sisters had Aryan features, which I did not. We were married to Aleister and Satan. Oh, that's wonderful. Music class. I played the piano, clarinet, and violin, not all at the same time, but throughout my elementary school experience. There were certain tones that made me feel out of my body, also triggered an awareness of folding time. 4th grade Daisy programming and Dr. Green. Oh, Lord. I felt inferior, stupid in 4th grade. Math, as if I'd die under the weight of my stupidity. I'm not Einstein, my genetics are inferior. An onset of migraines and nausea further set the mood. I zoned out again. Doodling daisies and reciting, he loves me not. I felt like life would be better if I were magical like the Genie and I Dream of Jeannie television show. I snapped out of it because I realized it was mind control programming. This is Daisy programming, and kiss me, smack me. The words appear in the inner eye. A mental picture of Dr. Green appeared to me. He resembled a genie's husband. Dark black hair, charming, but with a gap in his teeth. Why was he in black and white? I chose to see him in monochrome, which added another layer as black and white mazes of deep programming issues surfaced. Seeing him in color, I felt all too real. I didn't want him to know I saw him. How is this even possible? Philadelphia experiment. Another unique experience as a small kid. I was aware of highlights of the Philadelphia experiment and of the main figures that would out the project to assist humanity. It was like reading a book that hadn't been written yet. I felt a sense of overwhelming joy and pride that I lived in this reality. These people are real heroes, and it didn't matter race, color, creed. We were all in this boat together. I saw the U.S. Eldridge in my mind on numerous occasions. A book cover, a ship in the water, or words flashing in my mind's eye, which led to all my obsessions as a teen to ride the 360-degree looping pirate ship, sometimes twice in a row, at a theme park that I hated, but I loved and felt a need to metaphorically survive it. Good Lord. Puppet doll reprogramming. At a child's museum, I felt I was to marry one of the marionette puppets, but I didn't listen to its rules. So mentally, it called me derogatory names, or the clown doll, or a male cabbage patch I was to marry. If I didn't listen, they threatened to harm me. I violently got rid of them, once resulting in a severe fever that felt like I was going to die, but I didn't. I survived. Religious figures and other stories. There were several religious programming events or overlays that happened in my youth and as a young teens. For example, while reading the Bible school material from Grandma, a Sunday school teacher, the kindly, friendly verse in Psalms and Kings were my favorite. I burst into tears seeing scenes in front of me. In disguise, watching Solomon make crucial decision on whom is the real parent. Solomon was a great king, and I asked him a million questions to see if I could stump him. The animals and insects were at his command, and it was an interesting time period to view. Or discovering the zodiac relationship to Jesus. Who was Jesus really? Did he die on a cross? And why do I feel the weight of a gun in my hand pointed in his direction? No. Chapter author's note. I don't want to take away from Stewart's written story, but wanted to share my personal experience, even though I wasn't there. The story unfolded in my mind. Then the book cover from Montauk Alien Connection appeared. The truth revealed itself to me about the Christ figure, his real name, and that he had a family with Mary Magdalene. I elected not to write this down for fear of the men in black discovering my writings, and me and my family's concern for labeling me mentally crazy. Crystal Skull and Grandma's room, teen watching TV. I received a mental picture of the Crystal Skull and its history. This was another mental test of my abilities. I knew that whatever I thought in its presence would be my reality. Talk about immense pressure. So naturally I thought of unconditional love. I received a mental picture of a future book, Blue Blood, True Blood. This gave me hope that I wasn't imagining things and that this information exists in reality. Growing up, it was not easy being this aware of my environment. All the time I felt joy that all people have opportunities to correct themselves, and I too have the ability to forever change the course of planned, programmed history. I remember reciting those words, and I eventually saw words written was beyond comparison. I wasn't alone. Okay. Well, that's the first case study. And I'll read the analysis on another video because it's too much to record at one time. You have to bear with me. I just want to help. I just want to do my part, okay? This was about back and front altar, secret space for Fourth Reich. My story, the child within. I wonder. I thought it was a lady. Dr. Stewart Swordlow. I don't think that's his. I don't know if these are his stories or not. It doesn't say that they're his stories. This is about Alexander Cameron. I guess we'll find out as we go. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll continue to break this book apart and just look at the mind control shit and just see how fucking crazy they may have made us be and try to shake it off.